But the ease of dissection, we kind of went by that, and I think there's something worthwhile. So the laser was 500 kilohertz, now we're at 2,000. Why is it easier to dissect? I will say that for any surgeons that are doing the 500 and have said, you know, that -3 and below is a thin lenticule, I just don't feel real confident in getting that thin lenticule. I'm just going to stay with PRK and LASIK for those. This, I do believe, is a game changer in the sense that the photodisruption is so much better. And why is that? Well, any photodisruptor is a focused laser. So if we use a YAG laser and you have a bad tear film, even then, if you know, let's say no lenses, bad tear film, and you're doing a YAG laser, you will not get takes if it's dry cornea. In the scenario with the 500, when you photodisrupt, you have expansion of the gas bubbles. And we're probably not ahead of those gas bubbles with the 500. With the 800, we're ahead of those gas bubbles, so I think the photodisruption spot to spot is as focused as possible, and you get the best tissue dissection that's possible. So going from the 500 to the 800 and doing a 3 and under, it's a totally different game. I mean, when we had the 800 traveling, and I did my first, let's say, -1, I just looked back at the clinical application specialist, I was like, oh my God, this is a different procedure. So much more confident, and I've been doing this now for 12 years, much more confident doing a -1 treatment. So that means that when we do the -3 and above, those dissections are even easier. So I can only applaud Zeiss for making an easier technique, much less anxiety, much less stress for me. So I don't know if you guys want to share on that topic.
No, I totally agree. You know, I think back to my femtosecond experience and go back to the original interlace, and we had a 15 hertz. I can't believe we had a 15 and now it's 2,000. So right. That's just even hard to you know, put your mind around. But anyways, a 15 would take, I think it was 3 minutes to create a flap. And those flaps were sticky because each shot, it was so slow, you know, to do the next shot that bubble, it's expanded and blocking the next shot. So the only way you could get around that, you had to spread your spot size out because each bubble would expand faster. You can lay the next shot. And so we went 15 to 30 hertz, and that got a little bit better dissection, then 60 hertz, and then the Interlace 150 was faster yet, and you get better dissection. VisuMax 500 is even better yet. Our flaps are really easy, and 800 at 2,000 it's just going to be like butter to make that dissection. So it allows, like John said, that spot as it's being laid down, you can make it tighter to have a better, cleaner dissection, and that's going to translate. And each step of the way, we all saw that even with the original Interlace, we saw that ultimately patients had a wow effect. But early on, those lasers had a decreased wow effect day 1 because you'd see some edema. It'd take some time for that to clear. More inflammation, as Sonny explained. But now, the faster, the cleaner cuts, the healing time and faster to wow is that much quicker.
I think that I really love the VisuMax laser. It's really fun to use, and the way that it cuts, it's so precise and it's really beautiful. I mean, it really is. As a cornea surgeon, I just really appreciate the precision that the VisuMax achieves. I've also done some research work with DALK. With doing femtodalk and femtokeratoplasty, and it's really beautiful when you look at the OCT, for example, and you look at, I know this is a little off topic, but you just look at how precise and how beautiful the VisuMax cuts. It just makes me so happy when you, no, it does, it really does. That you look at it and you look at how clean the line is, and it's really amazing. I mean, it's just something to appreciate. Even if you don't do it, you should at least see it because it's really fun, and it just makes me, again, it's just so much joy to see how precisely it can cut the cornea.
Yeah, I just want to go back to John's comment about the easier dissections. I had one case where after identifying the posterior plane and the anterior plane, and I went to fully dissect the anterior plane, the lenticle started to scroll because the posterior plane was cut so smoothly.
Right.
I actually was like, oh my God, I gotta get this thing out. It's just scrolling up. I just grabbed the pair of forceps and removed it.
Yeah.
So it was much easier to do it that way.
Yeah.